For the Cavaliers is, of course, first-year head coach Amaka Ogugwa-Hamilton, better known as Coach Mox. Coach Mox with one of the best starts in her inaugural year in Virginia history. Has had a tough stretch of a couple of games, but is looking to bounce back at home. And, of course, on the other end, Coach Banghart for the Tar Heels knows a thing or two about winning here in John Paul Jones Arena. Won her first ever road ACC game here in Charlottesville. She's going to look to build on UNC's success in the series between these two teams as of late. But with the tip off, it's the Cavaliers looking to get things going. There's the poke away from the Tar Heels. A foul will be called off ball, and it looks like this one is going to go towards UNC.
Early foul there. Looks like it was on Sam Brunelle. Don't necessarily like to see that too early on, especially with already a star out, but that offense really started with a defensive steal from Virginia, so hopefully they can rely on their defense today going up against a stacked UNC roster.
And you just saw head coach Banghart on your screen. It's easy to talk this year about Coach Mox's initial success. However, Coach Banghart is a fantastic leader who saw a lot of success early in her coaching career as well. An 8-0 start, and they're going to look to keep it going. 0-0 here with 9:34 remaining in the first.
We are all in on the moment. We're popping trays in the driveway, we're getting buckets on the court. The playground of future stars, all in on the crazies. From the nose zone to the Oakland Zoo. Point guard, meet Castle guard.
Only 26 seconds to get to the first break here in John Paul Jones Arena, and it comes to us as a result of an intentional foul from Sam Brunelle.
Yeah, she got the ball tipped from that pass and just grabbed the jersey, it looked like, of Anaya Poole.
Certainly not too much contact, but you could definitely see her wrap an arm around there at the beginning of the game in clear view of the officials. Certainly not a difficult call to make, particularly in an ACC matchup. Don't want to let anything get out of hand, but as a result of the call, we're going to get 2 shots, and UNC will have possession following the shots, so an opportunity for them to take the lead. And Coach Mox, who you see on your screen, certainly did not expect this to be the start of the game.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in a Virginia jersey really hoped to start the game out like this, specifically wanting to win another ACC game on your home court. They are undefeated at home so far this season, so looking to continue that track.
And Lauren, how does that change your mentality as a player when you are already down one of your stars and then one of your potentially the second, if not third best player comes out with an intentional foul early in the first?
Yeah, I think like when you're that player, you have to just be smart, right? You don't want to pick up that second foul because that is that can throw your game off, especially when you're an aggressive post player. Sam Brunelle seeing some time here on the three-point line, so hopefully she can avoid that.
Brunelle manages to find Taylor under the basket. She'll draw the foul, can't get the shot to go, and head to the line for 2. A lot of free throws here early between the Cavaliers and the Heels.
Yeah, Cavaliers are shooting a little under 13 free throws per game. A lot of them coming from Cameron Taylor here, just battling in the paint. She's going to see that a lot tonight against this UNC squad who has, Usby as well as Poole down low to make her night really hard.
And despite having a lot of opportunities at the charity stripe, UVA has really struggled to convert those chances into points. Across the last 4 games, only shooting 65% from the free throw line. As a team that is looking to make the jump to the next tier of play, you have got to be able to hit your free throws. As UNC getting their first offensive possession, Kelly puts the shot up, can't get it to go, but the rebound goes the way of the Heels thanks to Anya Poole.
And that's a shot you can live with as a defender, but you have to clean up the scraps. You have to get that rebound and head the other way.
Kelly with a good move behind the back. They're going to get the pass to the corner, but late on the shot, and the Cavaliers get an early shot clock violation.
Great way to clean up a missed rebound there, to be able to come down, sit down, and defend to turn the ball over.
And so often, we've talked about it throughout the season, Virginia's success has started on the defensive end. It's where they've managed to build their momentum and find their rhythm. Can't get that possession to go, but it's an encouraging sign to see them making the disciplined steps that they need early in the first.
Oh, yeah, there's so much that you can control on the defensive end, whether that's your energy, whether that's your hand movement, your feet movement, talking, calling out screens. And so I think that they've been able to make that shift this season to make sure that they're just clicking on all cylinders in their individual regards, that they clean up a lot of mistakes.
The Heels tenaciously trying to attack the paint. It's the pull-up jumper from the elbow. Can't get it to go for Alyssa Usby. The 6'1" junior out of Minnesota. The Cavaliers try one on the other end, but it won't fall for Miller. Another foul on UVA, and it will go the way of the Heels. Coach Mox not happy with the early fouls that her team is giving up, many of which have felt unnecessary. Particularly with the shortened bench that the Cavaliers are dealing with. They cannot afford to get into foul trouble early. There's the turnaround jumper and falls in with ease from Alyssa Usby.
Usby has been doing it all. She's fourth in the ACC in field goal percentage, so when she has the ball in that position, she's really, really good. Keeping the ball out of her sweet spots is going to be key for the Virginia defense.
Lawson kicks to Miller. Miller, the shot off the front of the rim. Lawson's got the rebound trying to get there, but blocked by Usby. Alexia Smith going to recycle the possession for the Hoos. Brunelle in the high post. Can't get the ball to her. Short time. It's Brunelle down the right lane. The layup won't go, but it's a charge on Sam Brunelle.
And that's a situation where we were just talking about it. You know, you get that first one, and when you pick up the second, that is when it gets uncomfortable. Sam Brunelle is usually someone that can read a defense and stops and pops right there, and might have been the better situation because, again, UNC knows that she's going to be someone that they want to keep on the floor.
Well, and Lauren, we talked about Deja Kelly at the top of the broadcast, but thus far it has been all Alyssa Usby for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, she's averaging a 1.1 block per game, already has one, was able to knock down the last shot in the last possession, and she's just a key piece to this offense.
Valladay looked like she might have caught a little shoulder on that drive from Kelly, hit the ground hard, no whistle blown. Looked a little tender on her feet, but back up and staying in. Didn't even give a look over to Coach Mox. Wouldn't risk getting taken out of this one. As that three is up and off the mark. Valladay with a big-time box out, tripped up by Usby right in front of the officials, and now the Cavalier fans are letting them hear it. Inside, there's the shot, up and will not go, but London Clarkson going to get to the line for two for the Cavaliers.
Great look from London Clarkson and allowing her to just be a presence inside. Obviously, that was a play that they were running with Taylor down there on the block, but Clarkson has come in and gave really good minutes. She's averaging only 4.5 points per game, but she's getting about 15, 16 minutes per game, and so for her to be able to come in and have an immediate impact is exactly what Virginia wants to see.
42% free throw shooter will miss her first and make her second. Cavaliers trailing by 2, 6 minutes remaining. A reminder, with that early break, 26 seconds in, that will be the break for the quarter, so it is going to be a long stretch of 6 minutes. Here in John Paul Jones Arena, as Smith comes up with the steal. Moving the other way, there's the kick to Miller. Miller, it's up, and it's off. It's marked into the hands of Usby. Lawson and Valladay fighting hard for it. Excuse me, Clarkson. It looks like she might have caught an elbow. She did. And so thanks to the tenacious effort from London Clarkson, the Cavaliers going to get the ball.
Yeah, that's a risky place to trap, right? On the other end of the court where you're still on your offensive end and just doubling and making sure that you put your body in between her and the person she's trying to get the ball to. That was a great read there from London Clarkson and Valladay.
Ball inbounded to Valladay. Setting it up. Valladay tries the shot herself, and it's in. The Virginia Cavaliers get their first three of the evening and their first lead of the game.
Tough shot there from Valladay. We talked about it ahead of this game that we were hoping that Valladay would be the one to step up in Mira McLean's absence, as she has, one of the most experienced players on this team.
Valladay only a 24% three-point shooter, but she made that one look easy, calling her spot. And we're going to see a great matchup between Valladay and the host of Carolina guards on the floor. UNC continuing to show its defensive acumen, drawing its second charge of the game.
And that one came on Alexia Smith, the transfer, who's getting her first, or one of her first starts of the season. I believe it's her fifth of the season so far. And she comes out being aggressive, a little too aggressive on that play, but she is going to be a big piece of this Virginia squad continuing their success this season as she gets this start, and I'm sure others in the future.
Three is up and off the front of the rim for Eva Hodgson. Now Virginia going to try its luck from deep behind the arc. It was Lawson that couldn't get it to go. Dale grabs the rebound, and Lawson will recycle. Tar Heels really sitting back defensively. They're more than comfortable letting UVA take those deep threes. We'll see if they're able to get some more to fall as Valladay, a little step back jumper, showing up early in the stat sheet.
Great shot choice there for Valladay, and I think it does her really well that she is such an aggressive scorer, trying to get to the basket all the time, that defenders play her that way, and so when she keeps knocking these shots down, that'll be great.
A 6-0 run over the last minute 50 for the Virginia Cavaliers. UNC trying to end a 3-minute scoring drought, unable to do so there. It's Lawson off to the races. Teammates in front of her. She'll kick. There's the three, and Valladay's got it. How about that? Taylor Valladay has the crowd on their feet, and the Who's lead 10-4.
We can tell who took some extra shots coming into this game, making sure that when one person goes down, another one steps up. And that is what Valladay is doing from deep and inside the paint a little bit.
At home over the last 2.5 minutes, and they have number 2, Taylor Valladay, to thank for that success.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you this. Between Taylor Valladay and Mira McLean, they are two people on a Virginia squad that will get everyone in JPJ excited.
A much-needed bucket for UNC to end a 4-minute scoring drought, bring it back to a 4-point game. Yonta Vaughn has checked in for the Cavaliers, the ball handler at the top of the key. She'll kick to Dale. Short off its mark. Valladay's got the rebound and the putback. Another 2 for Taylor Valladay, and she's got a quick 10 on the evening.
Right place at the right time for Valladay.
Hodgson trying to split a double team. No foul. They're going to lob it. Lawson up strong. Can't get it to go. Valladay's got the rebound. She'll bring it out and recycle the possession for the Who's. 10 points, 4 for 4 from the field, 2 for 2 from 3 points, and 3 rebounds for Taylor Valladay here in the first quarter of play with 2:44 remaining.
Ended up being a turnover there for Virginia. However, that was their 6th offensive rebound, I believe, of the night. And they also lead the ACC in offensive rebounds, 15.6 offensive rebounds, 19th in the nation.
Working the ball inside. They go to Zelaya. UVA fans not happy about the lack of a travel call on that play, and finally getting a knockdown bucket is Deja Kelly, the 5'8" junior from San Antonio, Texas. Miller to Valladay. With her head up, goes to Taylor. Taylor, spin move, trying to get it up, grabs her own shot. And they're going to get a foul on the Tar Heels. Headed back to the line for the third time this evening is Cameron Taylor.
We're used to seeing her be aggressive in that paint, and now we're seeing her as well as London Clarkson in the game together. It'll be interesting to see how they use each other inside the paint with those post-to-post screens that they do so well.
Excuse me, Taylor's second trip to the line, a 74% free throw shooter, will miss her first. One of the better free throw shooters for UVA with those numbers. But a 1 for 3 start for her today. She'll find her second, make it 2 for 4, and the Who's lead by 5. And it's an off-ball foul on UNC. It looks like it's going to be called a push, and it will go back the way of the Who's with 1:55 remaining. Virginia is going to get into the bonus as Valladay, limping off to the bench a little bit, might have gotten Charlie Horst under the basket on that play.
Yeah, if there's anybody you want on Deja Kelly, it's certainly Taylor Valladay, just able to move with her as she goes from one side of the court to the other in those cuts.
With Valladay off the floor, we have Yonta Vaughn and Alexia Smith in the guard positions, and there you see Valladay walking back into the tunnel. Does not seem like she's going to go all the way to the locker room, but definitely getting checked out by the Virginia training staff. Certainly a loss that the Cavaliers cannot afford as Miller puts up a 3 from the top of the key. A bad bounce, but it stays in play. How about that from London Clarkson? 14 on the shot clock, 1:26 remaining in the quarter. Vaughn, the 3, up and in and out. Unlucky break there as the Virginia Cavaliers head to 2 from 8 from beyond the arc. Both of those makes from Valladay. And a block on the Cavaliers will slow the pace of the game down and get UNC into the bonus. Foul trouble continuing to be a major storyline for the Cavaliers, but the Heels as well today.
Yeah, both teams still trying to find their way, and for UNC offensively, they haven't had many offensive possessions where their offense has flowed. We see throughout the several games against their game in Notre Dame, their win over Notre Dame, where they can get the ball out in transition, use the numbers that they have and finish, and whether in a pull-up or all the way to the basket, and that's just not happening just yet for them.
They have been trying to find their offensive rhythm despite beating Notre Dame. Only put up 60 points, UNC's second lowest scoring game of the season, next to their loss to Miami, in which they only scored 58. Really looking for an explosive score to emerge from that Tar Heel roster as it's kicked out to Miller. Miller driving into the middle of the court. Can't get it to go, ball loose. Now the Heels in a 2-on-2. More players streaking down. Paulina Paris will pull it out. The 3 is up and in for Deja Kelly.
And those are shots she will take. Coming down in transition, if you don't have your hand up, she is very capable of knocking those shots down and making it look as if you fouled her.
UNC bringing it within 30 seconds remaining on the clock. That 3 from Lawson is long. Now they could have a chance to take the lead with time in the first. But a bad transition turnover gives it right back to the Cavaliers. Now an important possession here for UVA. They've struggled at beating the buzzer throughout the course of the season, but a chance to increase their 1-point lead. Smith, pull-up jumper from the free throw line, and she makes it look easy.
Great read there for Smith to come off that screen and read the defense. It's exactly what you want to see from your transfer guard. Virginia up 3.
She has that right ankle wrapped and taped, but certainly a member of the team that Coach Mox cannot afford to miss out on. 10 points in the first quarter, tack on 3 rebounds as well, and she has made a massive impact and is a huge reason why the Cavaliers lead by 3 as Alexia Smith is called for a turnover that the fans here in John Paul Jones Arena are not happy about.
You can kind of notice the flow without Valladay on the court changes. Whether she's the point guard or coming off that 2 position, her presence is really felt on the offensive side.
And she's really fit into that role as the floor general beautifully. As a senior on this team, somebody that is familiar with what Virginia basketball is, what it means, and what is necessary to get the job done. She commands people offensively, defensively, and even when she's not the one scoring, she's creating opportunities for her teammates. Now the 5 Cavaliers on the floor are going to have to make do without her. It's London Clarkson with a good double reverse move. Too much on the shot, but Lawson's there, and they'll get the putback too.
Great putback by Lawson. Another offensive rebound for the Cavaliers. I'm sure that was something circled on this UNC board heading into this game, that this is a team that's going to make you pay offensively.
As the Heels get 2 charges in the first, the Cavaliers will get 1 there. London Clarkson doing it all.
Moving her feet on that baseline. She makes it really easy to let her know exactly where she's going. That's Todd-Williams coming up with that foul.
And you could see Coach Mox emphatically telling Clarkson to keep shooting the ball, keep working in the post. She's doing everything right. The shots just haven't fallen her way yet.
And how many times have we seen bodies fall on the floor when Virginia shoots a ball, whether it's UNC trying to box out or Virginia jumping over someone to get the rebound? It's mayhem down there.
Started this game with an intentional foul on Sam Brunelle 26 seconds in, and the physicality has not stepped down yet. Here with 8:32 in the second quarter as Valladay checks back into the game for Yonta Vaughn.
Well, you talk about the physicality level of both of these teams. They are both high-energy teams who play off of the success of individuals on their team, their teammates. Whenever someone on their team is getting after it, whether that's sliding over to take a charge or getting an and one, both of these teams feed on that.
And the freshman Paulina Paris will knock down her first free throw. The only new addition to this UNC team, scored a career-high 16 points in UNC's win over Notre Dame. Now Valladay going to bring it down. Her club leading by 3. Lawson trying to come off the screen, but the Cavaliers called for another travel. Off the dribble, just cannot seem to get that ball down to the floor. Back-to-back possessions, that has occurred, and Coach Mox, her face tells the story right now with those unforced turnovers. UNC trying to capitalize on the opportunity. It's a baseline jumper that goes up and in, but a charge call and a push-off from Deja will give it right back to the Hoos.
Great defense there for Alexia. She almost went into that screen, but was able to cut it off, and there looked like there was a little bit of contact. I'm not sure if she got tripped up there or if there was necessarily a tough push.
Deja Kelly, who is 5th in the ACC in scoring, averaging 16.3 points per game, not having the night or start that she would prefer. Struggling to find her rhythm. Only 6 points, 2 for 3 from the field, a 1 for 2 from behind the arc, and 1 for 2 for the charity stripe. Almost a travel call there. Fans not happy about that after the 2 that went against UVA. Paulina Paris with an acrobatic pass to get that ball inside to Kennedy Todd-Williams. They'll manage to keep the play alive for UNC off the foul from Caden Lawson.
Very accurate pass there from Paris, and I think it's interesting that we now see Valladay, or we saw Valladay on Paris, someone who is a dangerous three-point shooter.
With Valladay on Paris, it is Alexia Smith who has been moved to Deja Kelly. The Heels will knock down that jumper, and now the Hoos lead is reined into 1 with 7:18 remaining in the first half of play in John Paul Jones Arena. I'm William Fauché on the ACC Network as Valladay tries for the pump fake, caught in a double trap. goes underneath the basket, and that ball picked off with ease from the hands of London Clarkson. Paris puts up the three, not afraid to take it. Todd-Williams came down hard on Lawson on the rebound. And UNC will get another foul.
And that is not a smart foul at all. So far away from your basket. And there we see Sam Brunelle entering the game with 2 fouls, but is looking to make an impact here in offense.
A reminder, it was her intentional foul 26 seconds in, and then a charge that she committed. Looking to come back in a big way, and she will. Brunelle, right off the bench, first possession, knocks down the 3 with ease. Exactly the life the Cavalier offense was looking for, and now UNC is going to be called for a travel under the basket.
You know, I used to do that exact same step-out move in the paint. So I don't know if I would have been called for as many walk calls as both of these teams are getting today.
Neither coach seems to be happy about the amount of whistles blown as Valladay blows by her defender, but can't get the layup to fall. A foul will go against the heels as McKenna Dale hit the ground. Excuse me, they're going to whistle possession for UNC. It looks like it is going to be a hold on Alexia Smith.
Yeah, Coach Banghart almost lost her mind on that one. She thought initially that foul was on Usby.
And an interesting call there. It looks like the officials are going to have to check the numbers on that one. It looked from our angle like McKenna Dale had gotten hooked from behind, which of course would be an automatic foul. Nonetheless, it will be Deja Kelly bringing the ball up the floor for the Heels. Harris becoming an integral part of this UNC offense in the second quarter. Back up to Kelly, pull-up jumper from the elbow. Wow, what a shot.
Very thorough play execution for UNC. Everyone's cutting, everyone's screening for everyone. But Deja Kelly does such a good job of just, when the defense is relaxed, that she just steps in for her pull-up.
Ball whistled dead there for the kickball off Kennedy Todd-Williams. She'll take a seat on the bench in exchange for Eva Hodgson again, the redshirt senior out of New Hampshire. And along with a Tar Heel substitution, it is fan favorite Katie Pauley checking in for the Virginia Cavaliers, the freshman out of Missouri, who has had a couple show-stopping plays, including her Sports Center top 10 no-look pass and transition that we got the opportunity to see.
When she comes in the game, she's going to make a difference somewhere. You just got to wait for it.
Valladay trying to find somewhere to go. Pauly thought about the step-back 3, a deep take there. Looked like she was a little out of rhythm, and the Heels will grab the board down 2 into the corner. Shot is up and in with the foul. It is a 4-point play opportunity for UNC to take the lead by 2.
Those are the shots in transition that make them so dangerous. They don't get them too often, but if you make a mistake and leave Deja Kelly open at the 3-point line, she will make you pay. And there, Dale came out a little bit too aggressive and impeded her fall.
The Tar Heels 2 for 5 from beyond the arc this evening. Both makes coming from Deja Kelly, and Kelly will miss the free throw, keep it at a 3-point play. Valladay has her head up, looking for McKenna Dale. She'll corral that pass, and now the Hoos will settle it down at the top of the key. Valladay with Deja Kelly way out on her, had her slipping backwards, but instead will give it to Dale. Brunelle working her way into the post, has that shot blocked. Valladay gets an Hail Mary pass to keep it in play, out of bounds, and it will go the way of the Heels. UNC leads 21-20 with 4:36 remaining in the half. Notre Dame, UNC, and Lauren, UNC really showcased what it can do offensively.
Oh, yeah. In the ACC, you never know what can happen, and UNC did just that on both ends of the floor. Held Notre Dame to 9% of shooting behind the three-point line and a 28% field goal as a team. Paris Paulina stepped up there, 16 points in that game, 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. And to the team, they shot nearly 44% from the field.
It was Paulina's career high of 16 points, UNC's second top 5 win, the other game being against number 5 Iowa State earlier this year. So they've had some great wins, they've had some tough losses. It's been a mixed bag, it seems like, especially what we've seen today. The name of the game is consistency and rhythm. They've really struggled to find their offensive rhythm, and it's led to inconsistencies in their scoring. A couple cold streaks, a couple hot streaks, and that's what's brought us to a 21-20 game with the Hoos trailing by 1 here at home.
Yeah, you talk a little bit about consistency, and UNC had a stretch of games, 4 games where they lost back to back to back, and they are still trying to find their way. It's still early here in the ACC schedule.
Valladay went up for that layup attempt, hit the ground hard, a little slow to get up on that occasion, but a chance for Virginia to take the lead or tie the game. No points for the Cavaliers. In the last 2:41, they're 1 of 7 on their last 7 field goal attempts.
Yeah, not shooting the ball very well as a team right now, 28% from the floor and only 50%, 3 of 6 from the free throw line so far.
First shot up and out. You know, Lauren, we've got some great fans here today, and we have seen some amazing fans across the ACC. Now we need your help. This winter, the ACC Network wants to experience each sport from your perspective. So snap a pic or take a video and tag it with the hashtag AllTheDevotion. You might just see it on the ACC Network. 21-21 as Valladay hits the second. 3:52 remaining in the first half of play. Paulina Paris puts up that 3, but it falls right to the hands of McKenna Dale. Dale thought about the pull-up, goes to Pauly. Step over. Shot up, off its mark, and Katie Pauly is 0 for 2 from beyond the arc to start the game. There's the kick. UNC trying its luck. Can't get it to go. Pauly couldn't get that rebound. They go to Paris. Still swinging it. Great inside pass from Eva Hodgson. Couldn't be corralled in the paint. And now Valladay moving with some intentionality. Dale in the corner. Catch and shoot. Up off the top of the backboard. Out of bounds. And they'll say it's staying with the Hoos.
Way to keep that one alive there from Clarkson. 1 against 2. She was able to cause enough friction there in order for a UNC player to get a hand on it before it went out of bounds.
Virginia in desperate need of a bucket this possession as Brunelle puts it up and answers the call into the fan section, and a fist pump for them. The Cavaliers were 0 for 6 on their last 6 field goal attempts, and Brunelle ends the cold streak with an electrifying 3.
And she's 2 for 2 now from beyond the arc.
Thus far today, it is Brunelle and Valladay who have filled the big shoes of Mir McLean in her absence after suffering a season-ending knee injury against NC State. Valladay goes to Pauly. Pauly, shot is up and off. Can't take advantage of the hot hand from the Hoos. Valladay gets caught up in some contact there with Paulina Paris on the rebound. The officials conversing with the table. It looks like this is going to go against UVA.
Yeah, I think initially Taylor Valladay thought that it was going to be against Paris, and it actually ended up being against Taylor.
With that, UNC will enter the bonus with 2 minutes and 22 seconds remaining. Coach Mox certainly not happy about that call. A string of calls today that have had both coaches on their feet. The officials are going to issue a warning to both teams It's been a physical day, but it doesn't feel like this game has gotten out of control. The officials clearly trying to keep a tight leash on this one. Coach Mox with her hands up, not sure why they've been warned. Coach Banghart experiencing similar sentiments as the officials meet under the basket. Taylor Valladay encouraging her teammates. Let's take one more look at the play that started this all. You can see Valladay falling back. It doesn't seem like there was too much contact from Paulina Paris. But both teams now at their bench, and the officials are going to the table.
Yeah, from the first angle, I saw a little bit of a nudge or an elbow from Paulina to Taylor Valladay. But in the second angle we just saw, we see a little bit of a reach around by Valladay into that pocket to try to get the steal. And then it looked like Paulina threw a little bit of an elbow. But depending on where the elbow was thrown, I know referees, officials, they really want to protect the players in regards to making sure that there are no intentional hitting or arm swinging or elbows being thrown, above that shoulder.
In our second official review of the day, let's take another look at the play. And you can see that left arm kind of showing the wraparound that you were talking about, Lauren. It seems like Valladay was trying to sell that left elbow.
I mean, we've talked about it. Both of these teams, they're going to put their bodies on the line. They're going to be physical. They're going to try to beat you to the spot. And if they do beat you to the spot, they might end up fouling you, but it's just all about who the refs see making the foul on this play. Because both players are being aggressive here, trying to get to that ball.
And really, recapping kind of how we got here, the Heels shooting 41% from the field, 40% from three, and 71% from the charity stripe. Now you take those numbers, you look at the scoreboard, they are trailing by 3, while Virginia has shot 28% from the field, 25% from 3, and only 50% from the free throw line. Significant downturns in every statistical category, and yet the Cavaliers lead by 3.
Yeah, Cavaliers' effort and intensity, and I would even say pace. They're at their home court. This is a place where they are very comfortable, and we've seen that be an advantage for them in this game. Turnover-wise, UNC has 10 turnovers to Virginia's 8. And second chance points, Virginia has been able to put up 9, where UNC only has 4. One second chance point.
When I like what you bring up about the pace, because it feels like we've seen some very quick progressions, we've seen some slower progressions, but the entire time it has felt like UVA and the women in white are the ones that have been dictating that pace, and they've been adjusting it to make UNC as uncomfortable as possible. Thus far, you look at the numbers, it's working for them.
Yeah, UNC has a deep bench. They have a deep roster, and the fact that they only have 4 bench points when they're coming off of a game against Notre Dame where they had double-digit 23 bench points in that Notre Dame game. So they're just not seeing the turnover that they're used to in this Virginia game, and I do think it has a lot to do with Virginia's pace of getting on the board, that they don't get the offensive rebound. They sprint back in that transition, and UNC hasn't been able to find that many transition baskets either.
Both teams finally retaking the floor here as Coach Banghart and Coach Mox have a word with the officials about what just happened. So the foul looks as if it will be charged to Taylor Valladay. UNC will head to the line for 2. The fans are not happy about it. Lauren, from your experience playing, a long stoppage there after a very intense back and forth. How important is it for you to come out with the same tenacity for the remaining 2:23 of this first half?
It's extremely important. Going into the halftime, you want to be clicking. You don't want to go down and into halftime and have something for coach to be trying to correct, right? You want to go in there with motivation, with optimism that you're on the right path, but here are the few things that you need to tweak. So for Valladay, I'm sure that this is going to motivate her just based off the player that she is.
Paulina Paris manages to knock down her free throw as a high pass from the Cavaliers gets sent into the stands. An impressive one-handed grab in the second row. Gets the ball quickly back to the officials. Good to get the fans involved here in John Paul Jones Arena. UNC trying to get everybody involved now, trailing by 1, 2 minutes remaining. It's Usby with the right. How about that move? She'd been quiet after a hot start in the first. Now she gets 2 more for her team.
Nice controlled up and under move for Usby down low in the paint.
Virginia 1 for 8 in their last field goals. UNC 1 for 7. Both teams looking for an offensive spark. For UVA, it's a knockdown jumper from London Clarkson. 62% field goal shooter makes that one look easy. Coach Mox imploring her team to get their hands up. Kick to the corner. The three is up and in. Nothing but net for Todd-Williams, the junior out of Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Todd-Williams, she had one made three in their last game, so she's capable of knocking down a shot here and there. And Virginia switching up into that zone defense is going to allow for their players to get open threes.
Todd-Williams, 7 points this evening, has hit her career high of 20 points already 3 times this season. And the Tar Heels could certainly use another performance like that, leading by 2 with Valladay at the line. Valladay, only a 61% free throw shooter. Will miss on her first attempt with 1 minute remaining. Second is up and in, and the Hoos trail by 1 as Anya Poole checks back in for Alyssa Usby, who picked up her 3rd personal foul.
If you're Virginia, you definitely want to keep an eye on that coming out into the second half, making sure that you're going at her. She has 3 fouls. She's not going to want to pick up that 4th one too early into the 3rd quarter.
Fouls have certainly been a common theme for both of these teams as Valladay almost loses her footing defending Hodgson. Now it's Todd-Williams trying to go down the right lane, called for a travel early, and it's back to the Hoos with 41.8 remaining here in the first half.
If you're Virginia, you don't want to go away from what's been working. In this last possession, you want to get a solid shot, solid execution on offense.
Smith trying to drive cross court, loses her handle, gets it back to Dale. Dale pull-up jumper off its mark, and it's back in the hands of Anya Poole. Driving, Deja Kelly took a couple of bodies there before hitting the ground hard. Piece of Lawson, piece of Clarkson, and perhaps a piece of Dale. On that drive to the basket, she'll get to the line for 2 with 18.1 remaining.
Try to take it down that line and just runs into Clarkson's hip and even took her leg out.
Physicality not slowing down here in the first half of play. A lot of bodies on the floor for both teams as Deja Kelly knocks down her first. Number 2 in free throw attempts in the ACC with 101 this season. 3rd in made free throw attempts, and she knocks down both of those. 30-27, UNC lead. Shot clock off with 13 seconds. It was Smith who ended the period with a bucket in the first. Valladay with 5 inside. Clarkson couldn't handle it. Down to 1 second. The Heels going to be late on the half-court heave. And at the conclusion of 20 minutes of play here in John Paul Jones Arena. Your score, UNC 30, Virginia 27.
Virginia doing all that they can to remain, at least in the beginning of this half, trying to keep that lead. Now going to
the first quarter among an incredibly physical matchup between these two ACC teams.
Yeah, UNC has 4 players who average double digits, so any one of them can have a breakout night. And I don't think that we're going to see the last of Deja Kelly scoring. She averages about 16 points per game and already has 13.
Heels start off the half with possession, looking to get some offensive rhythm going after a big second quarter where they fell short towards the end. A missed bucket from Usby is how they will begin. A reminder, Usby sitting with 3 personal fouls. Warren, you mentioned Virginia is going to want to attack her. We'll see if they do just that early in the half as Lawson puts up the 3 and can't get it to go. Now Alexia Smith recycling possession for the Hoos, 14 on the shot clock. Brunelle up and finds its way in. An awkward bounce off the back of the rim, but 3 points is 3 points, and UVA will tie it at 30. Miller grabs that rebound from over the head of Hodgson. Now Miller driving to the basket herself with the right, puts it up, strong 2 hands, and gets the finish. A quick 5 for the Hoos to open the half.
Yeah, between that knockdown 3 and Miller, both players, Sam Brunelle and Miller, doing exactly what they are just comfortable doing. Miller's so good in transition, whether that's with the crossover or just finishing at the rim. So confident.
Brunelle with a stout piece of post defending. As that shot went up from Miller, they'll call it offensive on the Hoos. That is going to be charged to Alexia Smith as she brought the ball down the floor. The second time that she's been caught in that awkward situation where she ends up getting the foul as opposed to getting the pass off. Of course, only her 5th start of the season. Those things will come with more experience. Todd-Williams kicks it up top to Hodgson. Hodgson bangs down the 3. But the foul called before that, 2 baskets wiped off the board on back-to-back possessions. UVA has got it up by 2.
Yeah, and I'm sure Hodgson would have loved to see that one remain. She's a really good 3-point shooter for UNC, shooting 43 from deep and averaging 11 points per game.
Virginia swinging it around. They go baseline. The jumper is good. Cameron Taylor, who was relatively quiet versus expectations in the first half, knocks down a big one to get things going in the second. Virginia's offense firing on all cylinders as UNC picks up the potential 3-point play. It was Alyssa Usby, the junior out of Rochester, Minnesota. Usby 4th in the ACC in field goal percentage, 5th in the ACC in rebounds, and 3rd in the ACC in double-doubles. If it weren't for her foul trouble early in the first half, this could be a very different game with her presence on the floor.
Oh, yeah. She produces. I mean, last year she was a preseason Cheryl Miller Award watch list, and she just always is someone that you have to keep an eye on. We've seen her shoot that fadeaway in the paint a few times, which is her signature move. She hasn't been super successful today with it, but she's always making a difference.
Valladay at the top of the key for Virginia. Creating motion, Brunelle off the pick, and it's in. Sam Brunelle. Fouls, no problem. Missed shots, no problem. She's knocking them down here in the second. UVA 37-32. Usby trying to answer off the rim, can't get it to go. It's on the floor. They'll say Valladay undercut Hodgson on the rebound.
Brunelle here on the pick and pop. She screens for someone screens for her, and she gets the wide open 3-point shot again.
And just a great little play drawn up by Coach Mock. She slips her own screen, caught all by herself, her defender diving into the paint, and the finish is the cherry on top. As another foul is going to go against UVA. Valladay still holding her hands up in the air. It looks like that probably could have been an over the back on UNC, Valladay being the smaller player on the floor.
Yeah, a few times she's gotten caught up being the smaller player, and she's just trying to push her back. Her hands were up, but sometimes in basketball, the ball don't lie.
Valladay, 5'7", but certainly does not play like it, with the type of physical defensive plays and acrobatic offensive finishes like you see there. Another 2 for UVA. She's got 14 on the evening. And we talked about it before the game. There were shoes to be filled with Mir McLean out for the Hoos. Valladay saw an opportunity and has seized it as a veteran leader on this team.
Doing such a good job of just taking over. Valladay's making great decisions in clogged lanes. She's able to just find the gaps. You know, sometimes being small doesn't work out for you too well on the rebounding end of things, but when you're penetrating the paint and trying to find your gaps and trying to find players, whether to dish or finish, she does such a good job of just making the decision and taking it all the way.
Cameron Taylor will miss her first. An uncharacteristic free throw shooting day for her. 2 for 5, despite being a 74% free throw shooter. As she puts it up and in. Now a reminder, Sam Brunelle, 12 points right now. She came into today with 980 career points, 20 away from 1,000. Now only 8 shy, with 6:09 remaining in the third. Lawson kicks it to Brunelle. Trying to create something. Valladay is going to reset. Watch Brunelle to slip this screen. By herself and calling for it. Instead, it's Taylor with the right. It's up and in. A great move to get around the defender.
Great move, using her body to keep that distance between her and the defender and able to wrap right around for the basket.
Virginia leading by 8, their largest lead of the day. The corner 3 won't go for Smith. Tipped off UNC. Brunelle imploring the officials that should go UVA's way. But a great move here by Cameron Taylor.
Oh yeah, didn't even need to put the ball on the floor, and that's great recognition because sometimes that wastes time. Just up and over was perfect for her.
Particularly in a game that has been riddled with travel calls. Did a good job making sure she got to the rim first. Now the Heels looking for any sort of answer, staring down the Cavaliers' largest lead of the day. 42-34, 5:16 remaining. The 3 is up and in for Kennedy Todd-Williams.
Able to knock down that second one. Her defender's playing a little far off of her because she doesn't usually make as many three-pointers, but she is capable.
Lawson back to Valladay, swinging it around. Back into Lawson. Lawson from the free throw line. Can't get it to go. Smith has a hand on it. Keeps it in bounds. Virginia still rolling. Valladay 3 up, off the mark. Cameron Taylor hammering it. Brunelle trying to put it in. Nobody can get it up into the basket. But Virginia continuing to show why it leads the ACC in offensive rebounds per game. 15.6. Virginia leading 42-37. A great game for the Hoos, but today is about something a little bit bigger. You can see Coach Moggs and her entire staff wearing some of those shoes as part of a fundraiser for childhood cancer research. The men will be wearing their shoes January 28th, the women wearing them here today, and a special group of children were honored at halftime and, of course, appreciated for their tremendous artwork that is on display on the court. Such a great initiative that UVA has gotten into.
Yeah, great movement, great community to just be a part of and just intersect with. Obviously athletics is huge at the University of Virginia, but so is the hospital. So are the families, the children at those hospitals, and just being able to see the team as well as those patients be able to find joy with one another during that time is really beautiful to see.
And not only during the moments of painting the shoes, but in the ceremony at halftime today, you could see the smiles on those kids' faces were lighting up all of John Paul Jones Arena as there is a hard contact play under the basket. UVA fans in awe of this call.
Yeah, I'm in awe too. I only saw the block from London Clarkson, but it looks like McKenna Dale might have gotten the body here. Todd-Williams driving hard to the basket.
Clearly outside of the unrestricted zone. She appeared to have her feet planted. And it looks like this may bring us to our third official review of the evening. A lot of contention over that call and what looked to be, from the replay, a clean block.
Yeah, and I mean, both coaches are also doing a really good job of keeping these referees, these officials on their toes with questioning the types of calls during this game.
And as we wait for news of this review, we are going to take a short break and bring you right back to the action here in Virginia. We have a call reversal as it was determined that McKenna Dale, number 44 on your screen, was outside of the restricted zone.
Yeah, originally there they called that block call on her, but after a review, it ended up being the third foul on Kennedy Todd-Williams, who has 10 points for UNC right now.
I certainly think that was the right call, but the officials have had their hands full today, Lauren.
Oh, yeah. It's tough. It's physical in the ACC.
Two teams battling it out right now. UNC trying to claw their way back from an 8-point deficit. They've got it down to 4, but Valladay, who else is going to extend UVA's lead back to 6? She's got 16. Fadeaway jumper will go for Usby. Usby has had some moments of brilliance, but has not been quite as loud as Coach Banghart would like.
Yeah, and that's that fadeaway shot that I was talking about. Very comfortable making that move in trouble or around a whole bunch of defense there.
Smith trying to go from the elbow, can't get it. Pass picked off by Valladay. She's going to slow it down, and the Cavaliers continuing to dictate the pace of this ball game.
You talk about toughness. Both of these teams are coming out of points in their season where they've taken losses, or Virginia, they've gone up against their fourth ranked opponent now, and everyone's trying to shine. Everyone is trying to, put themselves in the best position here in the ACC play here. London Clarkson goes between two to try to finish and gets the foul call and heads to the free throw line.
UNC fortunate that foul was not called on Alyssa Usby and instead was called on Adams. If it was Usby, that would have been her fourth foul and really put the Tar Heels in quite a predicament with 2:45 still remaining in the third.
Gotta be careful here if you're UNC. Usby as well as Todd-Williams, who just checked out of the game, both have 3 fouls, as well as Anya Poole. Your big girls.
Go into Usby, being double-teamed by Brunelle and Dale. Good move by the Cavaliers. They're going to pop out for a 3-point attempt. Can't get it to go, and Alexia Smith off to the races, trying to beat the Heels defense. She gets by 1, sent to the ground, no foul called, and Coach Mox just imploring the officials to blow the whistle. Usby trying to go to work on Clarkson. Can't get the bucket to go. UVA still leads by 6. Smith going fast, and they're going to get a block on the Tar Heels.
And that's an instance where, I talked about it. The coaches are really coming down hard on these officials. And I think the first foul, or the last possession where Coach Mox thought it was a foul, might have been a harder hit than this one.
But you could see, even in the microcosm of this game, how much Alexia Smith is continuing to develop in her role. The first 2 times in that exact situation, didn't make her move fast enough, didn't get the ball out fast enough, got the charge. This time, saw that the feet weren't set, saw her defender shifting, and realized that she could get to the line. Now is going to knock down her free throws. Saturdays are for college basketball on the ACC Network and ESPN app. This week, a triple header starting at 3 Eastern with Pitt, Georgia Tech, and the final 2 games of Duke v. Clemson and Notre Dame versus Syracuse. Should be a great afternoon and evening of hoops on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. And even early in the season, for both the men and the women, the ACC has continued to show why it is considered one of the most dominant conferences in basketball. How tightly contested each and every single game is, no matter ranked, unranked, bottom of the conference, top of the conference. Every single team just comes to play each and every day.
Yeah, rise to the occasion. That seems to be the theme this season for the ACC. Shocking one team at a time. We've seen Clemson do it against Virginia Tech. We've seen Boston College do it. There are so many teams on this women's side that have been able to make their team and the name across their chest known on a national scale.
A good move from the Tar Heels to get to the shot, but Alexandra Zelaya unable to knock down the bucket. Virginia in need of a shot, too. They'll go to Miller in the corner, and a knockdown 3. UVA has its largest lead of the night at 11.
Beautiful ball movement for the Cavaliers. One player didn't have the shot. They gave it to the next, and kudos to Kaden Lawson for slowing down her footwork after she was just called for travel.
Miller 0 for 3 before that shot, but her big-time knockdown couldn't have come at a better time. 40 seconds remaining. Cavaliers tenaciously defending the basketball, but a foul going to be called on Taylor Valladay, who was trying to put the clamps on Deja Kelly.
And she was hoping she could stay in, but that's 4 for Valladay, so she heads to the bench to be ready for the 4th quarter, because you can be sure that UNC is not going away.
Valladay going to need to be very careful in the 4th when she inevitably checks back in. She has been the spark, she has been the matchstick, and she has been the lighter fluid for this Virginia Cavalier offense all night long. Coach Mox cannot afford to keep her on the bench for too long despite her foul trouble.
Yeah, we talk about a little bit of a dip-off for this Cavalier offense when Valladay is not on the court, but Alexia Smith is making good use of the minutes she's getting, not necessarily with the point. She has 6 rebounds, 2 assists.
Smith, who knocked down the pull-up to end the 1st quarter with the ball, 4-second differential between shot and game clock. It's Miller who drives, puts up the floater, can't get it to go, down to 6 on the clock. Trying to pressure the Heels without giving up a foul in this late stage. The buzzer beater is up, off the mark, and with 30 minutes away, it's the Virginia Cavaliers leading by 9 at home thanks to a big-time knockdown from Carol Miller. It on.
Everyone is doing a little bit of everything. It started with Taylor Valladay in that 1st quarter. Sam Brunelle, who's back in the game, has stepped up behind the arc. She is perfect for the night. 4 for 4 from deep for Virginia.
Now the Cavaliers trying to get it back from under the basket. They'll go to Brunelle. Around to Smith. Smith driving the baseline, right hand, can't get it to go. A reminder, Brunelle only 8 points away from 1,000 points with 10 minutes remaining in play today. An incredible career milestone from the transfer from Notre Dame. Clarkson driving, can't get it to go. Heels trailing by 7. trying to establish an offensive rhythm after a very, very slow third quarter in which they only posted 7 total points.
I was just about to say it. Deja Kelly heading to the lane. I think this quarter we're going to see UNC getting it into the paint a lot more than we saw in previous quarters. Not settling for three-pointers. I think they'll use Usby in the paint as well as Deja Kelly going downhill. It's just unstoppable.
McKenna Dale looking for options on the inside. Now Smith going to recycle at the top of the key with 6 seconds left on the shot clock. Watch Brunelle for another pop out. Instead, Smith tries the floater, can't get it to go. And Virginia seems like they might be on another cold streak here to open the fourth. It's been an ebb and flow kind of shooting day for the women in white.
Yeah, Virginia has to realize when UNC goes into that zone. Took them a while there to get into something.
Brunelle on Kelly. Kelly can't get it to go. Tipped up. Clarkson all by herself is going to grab and pass it off to Alexia Smith. Brunelle, pull up three is in. And Sam Brunelle, a perfect 5 for 5 beyond the arc and 5 points shy of 1,000.
Now this is a kid from Ruckersville, Virginia, who I'm sure has family, friends there to support her. Getting it tonight would be huge for Sam.
At home in front of her home crowd at John Paul Jones Arena.
But as UNC drops in one, I'm sure getting the win is more important right now for Coach Mox, who's trying to get her team into an offensive set.
Brunelle up and off her mark. The first miss, a bit of a heat check there as she took that one from deep. It's McKenna Dale who was fighting for possession. And a jump ball is going to send it the way of UNC.
Good hustle there by Dale, but it's Sam Brunelle doing what she loves to do best, which is shooting that 3-ball in transition. No one guarded her, and she was going to just sit right there and get her sweet spot like she always does.
Now the Tar Heels looking for an answer. Trailing by 6, 7 minutes remaining. Go inside. Spin move off the mark from Anya Poole. A quiet night from the junior, who has averaged 5.3 points per game this season. They're going to go to Carol Miller. Miller, the three is in. Virginia shooting the lights out in John Paul Jones Arena.
Carol Miller stepping up, not necessarily a three-point shooter, but she's good for 2 tonight.
9 made 3-pointers from the Virginia Cavaliers. Shooting 35% from beyond the arc. And just when UNC feels like it has some momentum going, UVA is back up 9. Make that 8. Every Thursday at 10 Eastern, right after our women's basketball doubleheader, the Nothing But Net crew will break down the night in the ACC with highlights and analysis of every moment of every game, along with looking ahead to the best games on the schedule coming up later that week. The coverage you can only get in one place on the ACC network and the ESPN app, where you can watch anywhere. Cavaliers lead by 7, going to Lawson in the far corner. Brunelle fading her way into the open space. Instead, Miller going to try a baseline jumper, can't get it to go.
My, how things have changed. UNC had the hot hand in the first half, shooting 30% from deep, and now Virginia tears things around. In this quarter, they're shooting 66+% from deep.
Both teams shooting a square 34% from the field on the entire evening. Despite Virginia's 5-point lead, now Alexia Smith setting up the offense. Valladay still on the bench with 5:40 remaining and 4 fouls.
Yeah, Valladay on the bench, Deja Kelly on the bench, trying to get some rest here before they close out this game.
Trying to make the move to the basket there was Cameron Taylor, but it will be a foul on the heels off the rebound. A great job drawing it by Caden Lawson.
Have to give Caden Lawson her credit. She does such a good job of just keeping plays alive. Has 7 rebounds so far on the night, and there just ties it up so she can get an extra possession.
Smith carrying it to the top of the key, trying to find Brunelle, sweeping her way around off the screen. But an inaccurate pass will fall to the Virginia bench and give possession right back to the Heels.
Yeah, we talk about Alexia Smith and her ability to come into these games and just get more minutes game after game. Comes with the mistake there, but it's all about reps.
Kennedy Todd-Williams getting some reps as she knocks down that three-point attempt to bring it back to a 2-point game. It's a timeout on the floor. 5:11 remaining in the fourth quarter of an ACC battle between the Heels and the Cavaliers, all live in John Paul Jones Arena. For now, Lauren, they've got a little bit of a different problem on their hands.
Oh, yeah. Some foul trouble here from 2 of their most experienced players. Transfers from Marquette, Cameron Taylor, as well as Taylor Valladay. Both have 4 fouls right now. Sam Brunelle has 2, and she's the one that's leading their charge to extend this lead.
Valladay caught in the trap, and a smart move there by Taylor to let that layup go in uncontested, not pick up another foul. 57-57, 4:50 remaining here in the fourth. Both teams really struggling to develop any sort of offensive consistency throughout the course of this game. It has been runs through and through as Miller has her jump shot blocked.
Definitely want to keep an eye here on Valladay and Taylor. They're going to have to be composed. Without Mira McLean, their bench is smaller than it usually is. So you have to be smart here late in games.
You saw on your screen, UNC has won the last 5 contests against UVA. Well, on top of that, they've won 25 of the last 28 with the Cavaliers. This team, the team that opened up the season undefeated following so many games and now sitting at 13-3, hoping to be the beginning of a change to that narrative as Valladay's jump shot falls off its mark. And a wide open Todd-Williams on the other floor, going to get the 2-point bucket and bring us to another timeout on the floor. 59-57, UNC grabbing the lead for the first time in what feels like a long time.
That just can't happen.
Every Thursday night, women's basketball takes over the ACC network. Next week, Diamond Johnson and number 11 NC State will host Haley Cavender and Miami at 6 Eastern. Then it's the rivalry matchup between number 16 Duke, who sits at 14-1 and 4-0 in the ACC, and number 22 North Carolina, who is looking to pull out a victory against UVA tonight. Should be another great night for women's hoops on the ACC network and the ESPN app.
UNC here, picking things up. Came into the fourth quarter with a 9-point, or losing in 9 points, but now they've just gone on an 11-0 run in less than 3 minutes in this fourth quarter.
Virginia 0 for 4 on their last 4 field goal attempts, riding a 3-minute scoring drought.
Yeah, we're starting to see the effects of this zone defense that UNC is putting on Cavaliers.
Valladay puts that one up off its mark. Fatigue certainly starting to play a factor for the Virginia team, who is shorthanded more so tonight than at any other point this season. A lot of people filling in a lot of new roles. Wide open drive to the lane is Deja Kelly. She can't get the bucket, but she'll get to the line for 2 with 3:02 remaining.
Yeah, gotta cut off that lane. We know what she likes to do, coming across one side of the court to the other to finish, going full steam ahead. London Clarkson picks up that one, and it's gonna head to the bench.
Deja Kelly with what feels like a quiet 17 here in John Paul Jones Arena this evening. 5 for 9 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3, and 5 for 7 from the charity stripe. That'll give her one more, 6 for 8. And Kelly will knock down both of those to increase the heel lead to 4. Big possession here for Virginia. Trying to go inside. Taylor with some pressure on her back, turns around and gets the floater. 2-point game. 2:48 remaining. Virginia with 2 timeouts. UNC with 3.
Gotta take Kelly off that left hand. That's what she wants to do, to get into that lane.
Valladay leaves her feet, gives the heels an opportunity, but Dale grabs that rebound. 2:30 remaining. Down to Brunelle. Loses the handle. Inside to Taylor. Taylor, double team. Didn't have her head on a swivel. Now is Usby. There's the kick. Todd-Williams, the 3. Off its mark. Alexia Smith set to the ground. Brunelle fighting, but it's going to be a UNC possession.
2 back-to-back mistakes from the Virginia Cavaliers. And now they're going to have to defend again. Off the rebound, Alexia Smith tries to get it. 2 blue defenders around her, and Sam Brunelle not able to get that ball as it rolls out of bounds.
In a game in which Virginia has done a fairly good job protecting the basketball, they have 4 turnovers in the last 4:32, allowing a 13-2 run for UNC. A couple of big possessions here as UNC looks to take some time off the clock. Driving the baseline. There's the kick, swinging it around. Paulina Paris, the 3 is up and in. 64-59 and a 5-point lead for the Heels.
Shooters shoot. It was only a matter of time before Paulina, and then they get another one.
Another Virginia turnover leads to a UNC transition bucket, down 7. Coach Mox going to use her second to last timeout with 1:40 remaining. Just a total collapse happening before us here in John Paul Jones, Virginia. A Virginia team that started so hot before, now just giving everything away to the Heels.
Yeah, we talk about how their defense leads to their offense, and right now defensively they are not clicking on all cylinders. UNC just getting whatever they want right now, whether it's deep or in this pressure. Getting a wide open layup there from Todd-Williams, who has 19 points right now.
And much like in the Heels game against Notre Dame, it's Paulina Paris who comes up big in the 4th quarter. She had 16 in the 4th against Notre Dame. Today, after going 0 for 5 from beyond the arc, she knocks down her first 3, and it couldn't have come at a better time. A real exclamation mark on a big run. 18-2 for the Tar Heels over the last 5 minutes.
Definitely a clutch shot from Paris Paulina. You know, you think about, or Paulina Paris, I'm sorry. You think about just everything that Deja Kelly does for this team, and we've seen her try to get into the lane and put up a shot, or get into the lane and kick it out. And I think her teammates and Todd-Williams, Adams, Usby even, they have done such a great job of being able to score the basketball when she really needs some help.
UNC back in their zone. It's Deja Kelly who tips that ball out with 1:31 remaining. It will stay with the Hoos. This press has given Virginia a little bit of trouble, so nothing is going to come easily to the Cavaliers here in the last minute and a half of play. Valladay trying to go to Brunelle. Deja Kelly with the quick hands gets the ball in transition. Can't get the bucket. Usby trying to keep it in. She'll throw it out of bounds, and with 1:18 remaining, it's back in the Cavaliers' hands.
Gotta be sharp. You have to be sharp in these last minutes of the game. This is practice, right? We're in ACC play any given night. You can be taken off your high horse, and Virginia came into this 4th quarter with a lot of confidence, and now they're being a little careless with the ball.
Virginia 6 turnovers in the last 5.5 minutes, 4 of which have come in the last minute and a half. Perhaps the most important moments of the entire game is where Virginia has had some of its biggest struggles. And now McKenna Dale going to check out of the game for Caden Lawson. Unable to get the ball inbounds. UNC going to use a timeout with 1:05 remaining. Keep possession in their hands. And this was.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm not going to be surprised if we see a launch in this one, right? Like UNC does such a good job of leaking out in transition most nights, and although they've only had it done a handful of times tonight based off of their defense, I think that we can look for a long arching pass down the court for either Kelly or Todd-Williams, something to get them a leak out.
And as we touched on at the top of the broadcast, head coach Courtney Banghart knows a thing or two about winning in John Paul Jones Arena, won her first ever road ACC game here. And UNC on this 18-2 run in the last 5.5 minutes has seemed like an incredibly dominant top 25 team.
Yeah, they've been the more poised team late here in the game. When they were down, they weren't frantic. They relied on their defense and was able to get back into this game and take over the lead.
Down to a minute remaining, UNC on the floor going to call a timeout. It was Deja Kelly who seemed like she just kind of slipped up there. Coach Moggs imploring the officials that was a travel as she lost the ball and slid. UNC leading by 11. Now 1 timeout left apiece for both of these clubs.
Coach is arguing that she traveled when she rolled over the ball on the floor. But officials, they call the timeout, and if you're Virginia here, you're going to look to go for the steal first and then foul right away.
Trailing by 7, 1 minute remaining. Certainly not out of the question here, but Virginia is going to need a major turnaround from what we've seen in the last 6.5 minutes from the women in white. Heels got to get the ball in first. They're going to bounce it off Lawson. Take 0.6 off the clock and get it right back. Virginia doing a very good job defending these inbounds in the last minute and a half, though. That is twice that UNC has gotten into a bit of a panic situation here in their backcourt. They're going to get this ball in, moving it well, trying to avoid the foul. They get it to Deja Kelly. Deja Kelly not who you're going to want to foul, and a little bit of handsy play there. And midcourt is going to send her to the line with 50 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I feel like if you were going to foul, you might have fouled a little bit sooner to keep some of those seconds on the clock. And as you said, Deja Kelly, a really, really good free throw shooter. Nope, not shooting yet there.
They get this ball in play. No foul yet. Seconds still ticking off the clock. Alexia Smith going to jump for the ball. She seemed displeased about the foul. However, with only 47 seconds left, it felt like it was almost now or never, as Coach Moggs going to bring some more offensive-oriented players onto the floor with Brunelle, Dale, and Pauly.
Yeah, we've seen Coach Moggs do this before late in games. We saw in NC State just switching people in for offense to defense, know your strength. And these players are really good about knowing their role on this team, and no one hangs their head. They come in and they do their job, but Virginia has only 47 seconds to try to get up under this.
And if not today, the gas does not let up for the Virginia Cavaliers. Sunday at noon here on the ACC Network. Virginia going to take on Boston College, another big ACC matchup. And for both of these teams, their records really have demonstrated just the gauntlet that the ACC is, and this game today is no exception.
Nope. BC is going to be coming out swinging, looking to take down Virginia, and Virginia's going to be looking to do the same. We always talk about ACC being one of the most, if not the most competitive conference in the nation, and both of these two teams have things to prove. Fairly new coaches there for BC, and Virginia's still looking to make a name for itself under Coach Mox.
And of course, a lot of games left on the table. Only January in this 2022-2023 NCAA women's basketball season. We thank you for joining us here on the ACC Network. William Fauché with Lauren Moses. It's been a pleasure having you in John Paul Jones Arena. And a great game in front of us. Not over yet. UVA trailing 59-67 with the ball. 47.4 seconds remaining. It will be Caden Lawson on the inbound. Down 8, a tough foul game to play, but Virginia going to have to play it if Brunelle can knock down that deep three. Valladay goes up, two-handed block, return to sender, gets it right back to Deja Kelly, losing her handle, still no foul called. Time ticking off the clock, 3 Cavaliers around her, and it's the combination of Valladay and Brunelle who finally commit the foul with 33 seconds left after that miss, and if she is able to convert these free throws, the window of opportunity for Virginia becoming tighter and tighter.
Yeah, Virginia going into this locker room will be very upset with themselves. You know, they had a run, let it go just off of their turnovers on offense. And if you know you've watched this team over the years, they've struggled with being able to take care of the ball, and we've seen them make a turnaround here this season under Mox with really just prioritizing their possessions. And late in this game, UNC's defense, that zone, switching from man to zone to full court pressure, really shook Virginia. And I'm sure they are not going to be happy about how they played through adversity.
Deja Kelly knocks down both of her free throws. Now it's Paulina Paris with the steal. The layup can't go. Todd-Williams there for the putback. Can't get it to go either, but a foul called on the floor will keep the ball with the Tar Heels for another free throw shooting opportunity with 24.1 seconds remaining.
Keller Valladay checks out with her 5th foul. We talk about the foul count for this Virginia team. Valladay 5, 2 other players with 4 fouls here. Definitely going to be something to keep an eye on as they move throughout this season. With 1 woman down and Mira McLean, they're going to have to be on top of defending without fouling.
Todd-Williams misses that one. You could see the frustration on Valladay's face on the bench after letting this one slip to now an 11-point UNC lead. Virginia unable to convert that basket, down to 9 seconds remaining. After Taylor missed the foul, the Heels will dribble this one out. And at the end of 4 quarters, your score, North Carolina 70, Virginia 59, here in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Well, UNC is used to scoring 75. They just got 5 points under that, but it really was a second half effort, and really the second half of each half. You know, the second quarter, UNC stepped up when they really needed it, and Deja Kelly and Kennedy Todd-Williams, and Virginia just could not respond. They came out a little lackadaisical in that 4th quarter after going on a hot streak, and 2 players, I say it again, Todd-Williams and Deja Kelly for this team, both had 21 points. Alyssa Utsby finished with 15.
With an 11-point differential in the final score, that will do it for us. For Lauren Moses, I'm William Fauché, saying so long from John Paul Jones Arena in Charlottesville, where UNC